Here we are in the 2011 BMW 328i. It's also the same going back to 2007 all the way up to 2012 for the coupes. Let's get this started. It's just too simple. So all the cars, whether they've got wood grain or aluminum, or if you've got an M3, you might have a carbon fiber piece here. We start removing from this front edge and we pop out and then we unhook it from the back. So I like to start with my fingers up here. So you start prying out with your fingers. And then you can see back here there's a little hook. So again, we want to go out and then slide back. So we just don't want to break that little hook. So be cautious with that. So we'll place this out of our way. We're going to do one door at a time. I typically start on the passenger front doors just because I've done it that way for 20 years. The driver's front door is identical in terms of removal, except it obviously doesn't have this handle. So on the driver's door, there won't be a screw up here. So there are just 3 screws behind this panel here, and then the driver's door comes off. So this is passenger specific. So again, plastic panel removal tool. You can see a seam right here. We want to be cautious with that. These can be on there really tight, especially the newer cars. So we pop it off with the tool, and then I like to use my fingers as much as possible. So we're just snapping these little tabs off. It's super straightforward. Put that guy down there. Again, using our Torx T20, we've got a screw up here. And again, don't get excited and go put this bit in your drill if you've got a drill at home. Just don't. It's disrespectful, I feel like, you know. I like to think our cars are still built by hand. I pretend they are. Some German guy, you know, spent all day hand assembling the car. So let's just keep the tradition alive, shall we? And we've got one more back here. Again, so the screws are now 1, 2, 3, 4. Driver's door, they're just 3. This 4th one is not there. So now, using our plastic panel removal tool, I like to start up here. It's just easier. The door's really tight down here. It's a little bit looser up here. So again, just behind the panel like so, and just pop out. Now I use my fingers the rest of the way around. You can't hurt it. Cars are built very, very well. And here's the trick. So come on back here. There's that screw. All right, so now you see we've got a couple things to unplug. So we have our speaker first of all. So just pull out. That's what she said. Then we've got our window control, so we just pull straight down. And then back here we have our light assembly, so that just pops out. Thumb, unplug that. So now the whole harness is disconnected. And lastly, we have our door handle, which is pretty cool. I'll show you how this works. It's pretty ingenious actually. So you can see I'm just going to take my left hand, I lift up, and I'll show you again how that works. So you can see now I'm letting the door handle go. So you want to close the door handle and then it goes in like so. So we just lift up and out. All right, this is all done by hand. You don't need any tools for this. You can kind of start right here. You can see it's very loose. It's literally just going to come right off. And then just peel. So we're just peeling. Now here's where it gets kind of tricky, and we'll go over this when we're de-installing it. You can see right here on this front edge, this little tab right here. It's very flexible plastic, so, see? Now, we're gonna reuse this foam. What's funny, you can see where they left a cutout for the tweeter. So they cut one piece of foam for all the cars. This is where your tweeter should be. And we'll obviously be replacing this, so we will reuse this. So we're gonna take this piece. Here's our replacement grill that we've sent you. So obviously we've got the tweeter provisions right here. So this is super straightforward. Might as well just show you over here at the door panel. Actually kind of like this flow a little bit better for future. And if you want to see this video at any other time, you can just head over to bavsound.com or our YouTube channel. or Vimeo. We've got videos on both channels. So we're gonna pull out our front tweeters, which is just it's just the most beautiful thing I've ever designed. I'm really proud of it. It's a 25mm silk dome tweeter. It snaps right into the factory housing. Look at that, perfect snap in. You take the little connector, feed it down through there like so, and go ahead and plug in our little inline harness, like so. This is gonna then plug into the mid-range driver. We take our tweeter foam, which interestingly enough has the cutout, snap it back in like, actually, you know what, let's get this thing situated and then we'll play with that. So, the tweeter is snapped in the panel. We're gonna reinstall everything. And this is, it's not complicated at all. As you'll see, it'll just take me a couple minutes, but you kind of have to there's a couple of ways to do it. And you know, it only goes, again, one way. So you know what we might as well do? Let's kind of start up here on the front. I don't know if you can, there's a little track right here. So this is where the tweeter hooks, or the pod rather hooks. So make sure you keep this nice and straight and pretty. There we go. All right, so that's gonna kind of let us guide. And you can see it's, until we get it situated, it's kind of, and it's always tricky when you're filming and trying to show somebody how to do something. There we go. All right, so you can see it's perfectly aligned. And like I said, it does get a little tricky back here. You can kind of see this little lip here. So we want to, that needs to be covered. So we cover it all. And this is where it does get tricky indeed. But a little patience here goes a long way. Now, this is the trick. We got to be careful with this lip here. And it's not going to break, but it's just making it look right in here. So sometimes, oh wow, that went remarkably smooth. I am really super excited. All right, so now you can see there's a little kink up here in the rubber. You guys can see that. So just take your tool. Perfect. So really it's just a little finagling. You got to hold your mouth just right, but this piece, it comes right on. It goes, it's such a simple, well executed design, and then this just goes right back on like the factory one. Except now, ta-da, we have a speaker, and I don't know if you can see through here, but there's this beautiful polished aluminum ring. You can see it in certain lights. I think we might be blocking most of the light, but it's really cool up in there. So with that, I think it's finally time to pause, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna head up to the workbench, install the mid-range, install some sound deadening. Let's pause right here, we'll see you in a minute. All right guys, so here we are up on our workspace. We're gonna go ahead and replace the mid-range driver. So remember earlier we were talking about the tool we're gonna use to do this. 8mm. That's pretty straightforward. Not a lot of excitement here. You can already see. Again. So with this guy out of here, and this is really complicated. I mean, you pretty much have to take this speaker and put it down there on that, and then you even have to go so far as to reattach it. That's the challenge in most of us face. The trick here, if there's any trick, is you snug each one down before you go back and torque all of them. And then once it gets snug, which it's kind of doing now, you know, you don't have to, these are the nuts that have the rubber inside of them, so they'll hold pretty permanently. So at this point, what we're gonna do, we've got our sound deadening supplement, but so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pause right here. I just wanted to show you guys how to do that. We're gonna apply our sound deadening. Pretty much, I wanna do it, and I'll show you this. We're gonna cover most of this panel that the speaker itself is mounted to. And then I'm gonna do a pretty big piece down here too, because it's got a really weird resonant characteristic to it, and I want to eliminate that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our sound deadening, And since this car doesn't have rear door speakers, we're going to use all of this in the front door. It's going to make a marked difference in the performance of this mid-range. So let's kind of pause it right here and we'll come back and you guys can see how I do it. It's not super exciting and it's actually really boring to watch me do the rest of it. So to see how this is actually done, check our sound deadening supplement, which we have on our YouTube or Vimeo channels. So as you can see, we've applied our sound deadening. Again, we want to focus on this panel mainly that the driver is mounted to. Again, like I said, this is, you can actually hear the, I don't know if this mic's good enough, but you can kind of hear the density of like, and then down here, much improved as you can hear. So as you can see, we've got our coverage here sufficient. Now let's connect everything and put the door panel back on. Again, plugging this door panel in. With our left hand, we close the door handle, snap in, voila. Now, I always do it this way because I forget. I take the light plug down, I plug the light in, and then I bring the light back up through, snap it in. It's super straightforward. You will forget that if you don't do it that way. Mark my word. Then we plug our window in up here, tightening right down there. Just snaps right back in. We take this, kind of snaps back in like so. Now, we make sure we plug in our intermediate harness between the tweeter. So we got this little harness here that we shipped you separately. It is imperative that you do this. Plug that in to the tweeter, this in to the mid-range, the blue, or depending, maybe black in the future, into the factory blue connector, snaps in, look at that, done. Now, you gotta move this because it can't sit behind it, there's just not enough room, so. Now, we come back here, we align this little male lock cylinder, like so. And then I do the top first, so I get the top snapped in. And then the trick over here, you kind of come and you lift up. And you'll feel all of the, don't start pushing yet, you'll feel everything just line up. Go around and then just using the palm of your hand. Done. So, again, grab our Torx T20 driver. Man, this is super exciting, I know, but you can see, I mean, everything just goes back together perfectly. These cars are built so well. So you can also do your own window regulators now, because you can get this door panel off, you can do the window regulators. So when your windows stop working, and they will, you can do the regulators yourself. So again, you want to go through, hand tighten everything, and then once you feel it snug, just give it a nice little turn. And with that done, this part's a little, I wouldn't say tricky, but you want to make sure you do it right. So kind of get it lined up a little bit and start at the top and work down. Again, perfect. And last but not least, don't break these. These are expensive. Back in 2006, I learned that the expensive way. So we hook this tab on the back, like so, and then slowly, using our hands, voila. So that knocks out our front mid-range, our front tweeter upgrade, and at this point, we're gonna go ahead and shift to the rear deck. We're gonna do this kind of one fell swoop. All right, so what we're gonna do with this rear deck is we're gonna carefully pry on this front edge, a little spot here on this side, and on here on this side. And we pry right here on the inside, here on the outside, and then we carefully pry, lift up, and pull towards the front of the car. Be careful with the older cars, especially the 06s, 07s, 08s. This plastic is pretty brittle. So with that out of the way, so we've given you this little template, and you're gonna put the template down like so, right here next to the mid-range. So leave the mid-range in place for the time being. We're gonna get the template in. We're gonna take our marker, we're gonna trace, and then we're gonna take a punch of sorts, and we're gonna poke holes through the two little holes here and here. punching through there for our mounting hardware, and that pretty much covers it. So at this point, what we're gonna do is we're gonna stop, because there's no sense in you, I mean, I can't really explain how to cut it. You can just watch how that happens. And then we will dropping the bolts down through and securing it on the backside with these speed nuts. Pretty straightforward. If you got small hands, it's gonna go a lot further. It's pretty tight back here, so you might want to go grab some help, maybe the wife, or if you've got a buddy like me that has woman hands, you can give me a buzz. If you're in LA, I might help you out. No, I'm just kidding. So let's get moving. This is super straightforward. Each one of these should take you about 10 minutes in the back deck. So let's pause right here, and then we'll wrap everything up and take a listen to our music on the new Stage I. All right, guys, so at this point, we've completed the Stage I. The improvement is just night and day. You'll hear it immediately. Keep in mind, though, that the drivers don't effectively break in until 10 to 12 hours of listening, so we want to give the surrounds and the spiders plenty of time to break in. You guys need anything else, swing by bavsound.com or give us a buzz. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.